Hello, and welcome to oh my gosh, I need a glass of wine. It was late one night, you know, just having a glass of wine, doing my research online, going down one of those rabbit holes that I tend to go down when it comes to Hoyas, and I discovered the Swedish Hoya Society. Sweden is like some kind of promised land for Hoyas. I ended up on their website. I found out that they were going to have a stand set up at some giant garden exhibition that would happen in Stockholm, and I just impulsively bought a ticket to the garden show. It was like only 16 euros. And I thought, well, you know, it's 11 o'clock at night, I've had a couple glasses of wine, maybe I'll go to Stockholm, maybe I won't. If I don't, okay, I lost 16 euros, but if I do, I'm gonna buy a bunch of Hoyas. So I ended up in Stockholm this past weekend to go to Nordiska Trädgårdar. I don't know how to say it. There were some really beautiful, just some really beautiful plants, like coleus hybrids that I've never seen before. But most importantly, the Swedish Hoya Association was there, and they had buckets of cuttings, buckets and buckets of cuttings, and I lost my mind. So enough chit chat. I'm gonna tell you about the Hoyas that I got. Okay, this is Hoya Jennifer. It is a hybrid. It's a suspected cross between Hoya incrustata and Hoya finlaysonii, hybridized by Michael Miyashiro in 1995. I had never really, I was just unfamiliar with it, and when I saw it, I had to have it. I had to. I need the baby. Mama want. This is Hoya crassipetiolata. On the packaging it says crassipetiolata, but I don't think that's correct. I researched it online and I think it's crassipetiolata. I think it was just a typo on the packaging. No big deal. It was collected in 2011 in northern Vietnam, and it was just published in 2017. So it's a rather new Hoya to the circuit. From what I understand, it's kind of rare to get a hold of, and it is a freaking beauty! I love it. I'm so excited to have this in my collection. The blooms look like they are absolutely beautiful, but for me, it's the leaves that do it, man. They're just so pretty. I love them so much. This is a little Hoya species affinity burtoniae. There's a lot of confusion about where burtoniae lies. There seem to be, it's like not clear. When you see the abbreviation AFF in a species name for a plant, it means affinity. So this would be Hoya affinity burtoniae, which means we don't know exactly what this is, but it seems to be similar to burtonia. And that's all we got right now. It's been mislabeled many times as Hoya DS70. It's been mislabeled as Hoya Sangii. Sometimes it's still sold under that name, but I don't effing care. It's awesome, and it's mine. The next one in my collection is Hoya meredithii. Look at This is Hoya meredithii, also sometimes known as Hoya vitellinoides. It was published in 1988 by Ted Green. I did not expect to find this. I didn't even know this. This is the most beautiful Hoya I've ever seen in my entire life, I think. I don't even know how to describe the way that this Hoya affects me. You know, like, sometimes your breath is just taken away by the earth. Like, you are standing at the foot of a magnificent view of a mountain range, and there's just a sensation of euphoria within you. There is just something that inside of you says, holy crap, That is so beautiful. What did I do to deserve this? That's how I feel about Hoya meredithii. It's just, maybe we should just move on. Next, I got Hoya Patricia from Torolnius directly. They had a Hoya Patricia on display on one of the tables next to the stand at the exhibition. It was so absolutely beautiful. They told me that it's a fast grower and a fast bloomer, and so I really couldn't resist. It's not the typical Hoya that I would jump for, but the white and pink leaves really sold me. Oh, and Patricia is a cross between Hoya darwinii and Hoya elliptica, if it matters to you. Hoya elliptica is a Hoya that will turn red in the sun, like the leaves get a really pretty rosy color, and so Patricia carries that trait as well. Hoya walliniana. This is one that I could probably find in France, but I saw it and I couldn't resist because I am a sucker for those beautiful rosy red leaves. The blooms are also really lovely, and you know, I'm not really a sucker for flowers. I don't really mind if my Hoyas bloom or not because I really just love them for their leaves, but this one, I just found it really spectacular. It was on my list of Hoyas that I wanted, and baby, I got it! It was published in 2003 by Dale Kloppenberg and Torolnius, and it was named after a famous Swedish Hoya collector, Pierre Wallin. I was on the hunt for Hoya caudata. I really love Hoya caudata because it has these beautiful, succulent, like thick leaves with this gorgeous splash on them. And the flowers are so cute! They're like little kittens. This is not caudata like legit. This is Hoya species affinity caudata T99006. It's still beautiful, and it was brought from Malaysia by Torolnius and Ted Green on one of their expeditions, and Torol told me that this is actually a faster grower and a faster bloomer than caudata, so I'm very happy to have it in my collection. Hoya Bella PES03 white form. Doug Chamberlain has this Hoya. It is Hoya Bella, but completely white. The blooms, are completely white. I have never seen this Hoya aside from the one that Doug Chamberlain has shown on his channel, and when I saw it, I needed it. So before I went to Stockholm, I messaged Torol on Facebook and I said, is there any way that I could get a hold of Hoya Bella PES03? And she said, oh yes, it's available here in Sweden. And I said, okay, I will be there. I will come to you. I will get that Hoya. And that I did. Alesios, Dischidia species CF, hirsuta NS08122. That might mean nothing to you. CF basically means compared to. So this is a Dischidia that could be similar to, compared to what is known as Dischidia hirsuta, but it's not identical, or we have not figured out if it is identical. So for now, it's considered like related to, kind of like affinity, AFF, affinity to, compared to, for example. I'm very excited to have found this because I've wanted to add a Dischidia to my collection for some time. They're very closely related to Hoyas, and this one is particularly special to me because the leaves are very similar to Hoya lacunosa, which I'm crazy about. So I'm really excited to have this. I'm really excited, really happy, really excited, really super pumped. Just super duper pumped. So those are all the Hoyas and Dischidia that I got in Stockholm this past weekend. I spent more than I expected. I had a budget set out of like, okay, I'll spend 50 euros on Hoya. I went a little overboard because I saw that Dischidia and also that crassipetiolata. I couldn't resist, and this was the most expensive one that I bought. This was about 19 euros in itself. So of all of them, this was the most expensive, but What are you gonna do, honey? What are you gonna do? You're gonna buy it, that's what you're gonna do. I'm gonna pop these up, I'm gonna drink more wine, and we're gonna, you know, have a little chit chat. Little one-on-one. Or 1 on 10K. Let's start with the beautiful Hoya Jennifer. Hoya Jennifer. I've had them in this packaging since I got them on, what day was that? Friday, yeah. I flew to Stockholm on Thursday and I went to the garden show on Friday. Well, this month has been a whirlwind. It has a very small root system. I'm surprised because I expected all of these to be unrooted, so I'm quite happy. Gonna get my soil and put her in there. I'm gonna be keeping these in my DIY grow box with a grow light. I just made a video on that if you're interested in watching it. So Stockholm was really cool. People were very nice. I don't speak a lick of Swedish, but everybody there speaks English really well, which made me feel super dumb. But like, that's just a personal thing, right? They didn't make me feel dumb. I'm like American, we are super monolingual. And here in Europe, so many people speak 3 or 6 languages. And, you know, can make me feel ashamed sometimes. Look at that, look how easy that was. Jennifer is in her home. Okay, good job, Jennifer, you did great. Who's next? So, I got a lot of subscribers real fast. And, that's crazy. That's crazy business. Wow, those are amazing roots. It's an amazing root system. I really want to get a close-up of that. When I first started my Instagram account and my YouTube channel, I was so embarrassed. Like I was afraid of total failure, and I didn't want anyone that I knew to know about it. Yeah, I just didn't want anyone to find out that I had started this silly YouTube channel about my weird obsession with plants that I just developed in the last 1.5 years. Like, I posted a video and somebody watched it. I got like a view and was like, huh, they must have found that by accident. And then people just kept watching my videos and just kept growing and growing. And also, like, this community has been so nice. It's like plants make people happy and nice. And the people who are like really interested in plants and this sort of subject, all done on Hoya crassipetiolata, are just really genuinely kind people who are looking for the same thing that I'm looking for. I'm really grateful that you enjoy my channel, and I'm gonna stop gushing. Let's talk about other things. Let's do Hoya meredithii. So beautiful. So this one is completely unrooted. It's just a cutting. So I'll do my best. I'm going to use a little bit bigger of a pot because the cutting is quite large. It's off the stem. Let's do Hoya Patricia. I was really excited because I got to meet Toril Muse, and she's like a Hoya OG. That was cool. And she was really kind. She was very nice. Oops. Oh, I guess it's 2. Okay, so I have like 1 and then the other. I didn't know that. I hope it does well. I'm gonna put this one in the big terracotta pot because I think all the other ones can fit in really tiny pots. Okay, are you good, Hoya Patricia? Are you happy with your new home? I hope so. You know what I am sick of? I am sick of people saying that you cannot prune Hoyas. You can. A lot of people say you should never prune Hoyas, and you should especially never cut off the stems where a peduncle exists. Peduncle being the place where Hoyas put out flowers, because it is true that Hoyas will always put out flowers in the same place. So a lot of people think that you should never ever cut off any stems that have a peduncle because it will never bloom again. Yes and no. I mean, if you cut off that stem, of course, like, you've lost your peduncle from that plant, but like, okay, repot the stem, you have another, like, propagate it, you have another Hoya that already has a peduncle, that Hoya is gonna bloom eventually. But when you have a Hoya and you want it to be more bushy, like, let's say you started with one single cutting, like these, right? This is just gonna keep growing, then I'll have like one long stem of Hoya. But what if I want like more? Like, what if I want a pot that looks more bushy, I want more growth? Well, I can cut this, I can take a cutting, I can root it, and then I can, you know, put it in this pot to create a second stem, and a third stem, and a fourth stem. And when you prune Hoyas, you do cut off the peduncles, but you're going to encourage growth from lower on the plant, so more stems will develop, and then in the end you'll actually have more flowers. I mean, it takes a bit of patience. If you want a Hoya that's going to bloom faster, but it's going to be less leafy and less bushy, then don't prune your Hoya. But if you have a bit of patience, and if in the future you want a Hoya that's going to be very bushy and have a lot of flowers, then prune it. It's very simple. This is Hoya burtoniae. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, to be honest. Usually I research that beforehand, but I didn't today. I didn't. Wonderful. So we have little Hoya walliniana. The hell is it called? Little Hoya walliniana. It's a cute name. It sounds Hawaiian. He's all potted up. He should be doing well. What's next? What's next? My caudata situation. Pop that. I'm trying to think of like questions that people have asked me on YouTube. Somebody asked me how I met my husband, because he's French, but he grew up in Belgium, but he's French. I've actually lived in France longer than him. I met him through mutual friends in my first year in France. It was kind of love at first sight for me, like Hoyas. Okay, now for my Dischidia. Dischidia is in the milkweed family, which is the same family that Hoya is in, but they're really poorly studied so far and not a lot is known about them. They don't produce the same sort of flower that Hoyas produce. They look very similar in foliage and they grow very similarly, like epiphytes on trees, for example. This Dischidia looks very similar to Hoya lacinosa, but they produce tiny flowers along the stem. They don't produce peduncles the same way that Hoya do. So they're a little bit different, and I'm really intrigued by them. And it's kind of like the next step into Hoyaism. It's like one foot deeper into the world of the unknown in the milkweed family. There we go. Quite easy to pop that one up. Quite simple. So he's all done. All of them are all done, and I'm keeping my white Hoya Bella in water because from my experience, that's the best way to propagate it. I hope this was fun and interesting. I hope you enjoyed my little Hoya babies, my little Hoya haul. I love to hear from you, and I just want to thank you so much for watching my channel, for being such a wonderful, welcoming, happy, and kind community. It has meant so much to me. If you're interested in supporting me monetarily, you can check out my Patreon account. You can donate something as small as $1 per month. It will give you access to patron-only content. I post videos and photos over there that only donators can see. You can become part of my little club. You can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. You can find me everywhere. I'm all over the place. Feel free to subscribe, check out my channel, see some other videos. Maybe you'll find something that you like there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. There's something wrong with me.